Good evening to all. I welcome you all for this presentation. It's a great pleasure to be here because during my college days, like you, I have a great ambition to become professor. So unfortunate that it doesn't happen. Maybe fortunate for the students like you. While addressing various forums, I always have in the back of the mind, I need to do something for the students. So when I get these opportunities, I was thinking, what will be the best subject to think? What is the best subject to discuss here? I picked up this title called Engineering Your Future. While I'm picking up this title, I'm not very clear why I picked this. But now I'm very clear, because you're already confused with entrepreneur, whether you have to go as an entrepreneur, whether you have to go as a designer, or to come to corporate, where we are. So today, my focus is to ignite your passion and stress on the fact that you need to be professional. By saying so, I need to tell you what are the challenges you're going to face in your corporate life and how you need to manage this. To make this more meaningful and realistic, I pull some of the guys who works in my office, recently joined, maybe around 2 years. Hey guys, come and tell me what are the challenges you face. Because that should be for today's environment. No? I joined somewhere like 26 years back. So I would like to know what are the challenges they face in the recent days. So they gave you a big list. Then I started prioritizing and picked the top 5 for today's presentation. Then I was thinking what you need to do to manage this. So put all my experience and thoughts and also discuss with various professionals who are very successful in their career and pick the good points of that and compile the whole thing for you. I am confident, if you are going to take your career in a corporate companies, this will really help you. I am sure 80% of your people sitting here will be in corporate only. Sure? Hopefully, because nobody has raised their hands for entrepreneur. Correct? So you have no other option but to come to the corporate office. Okay. So what are the challenges you are going to face once you enter? These challenges is not only for the corporate, but also for any entrepreneurships or whatever may be. The first challenge is going to be new environment. There is a quantum jump on the environment. Initially, you are in a college days. You are like, babies in a mother's womb. All your needs and wishes have been taken care by your parents. But once you get into the corporate, you have to start working like a professional. So the environment is going to totally change the whole scenario. You need to work late hours. You need to follow a lot of business etiquettes. You need to have a formal way of communicating, and so on. So the environment is going to be totally new. How fast you tune to this environment is going to be the challenge. I'm sure the people like you who are sitting in Dindigul, when you come to the Chennai life, you will face the real challenges. Is it true or not? True? Okay. The same thing, when you get into a corporate, because you have to tune to this environment, because Chennai is a fast-running environment. The same way, if you get into the corporate, the environment is going to be totally new, which you have to tune yourself very faster. The second challenge is going to be managing your time. I'm sure you'll be looking at your watch, probably in the classroom, to tell your professor the time is over. Correct? Or maybe waiting for your girlfriend or somebody. But you never look at your watch for any reason that, to manage the time. Doesn't happen. But once you get into the corporate life, you have a lot of things to do. One is, you need to work for money, basically. You need to be, working for your career improvement, other thing. The other way, you need to work for yourself, You have your own entertainments. You want to have, go to temples and other things. Your personal care. The third is going to be, take care of your families and friends. The next is going to be, you have to work for the society or something. Means, how do you balance this time? I was talking to one of the experienced profession, who was very successful. I asked him, what are the best challenge, which he could not able to manage? He said, 2 things I could not able to manage, Sudarshan, in my lifetime. One is time, the other is his wife. And the next. Okay. The challenge 3 is expectations. I think you all seen 3 Idiots movie, right? So when the children the kid has been born as brand new child, immediately the father says he should become a doctor, he should become an engineer. The same way, when you enter into a corporate or any professions, any company, the expectations are too high on you. Why? Because you are fresh mind. Why he is asking to come to entrepreneur? Because fresh mind. He doesn't want me. Because we are all mindsets. So I'll be like, the other pawns standing in the crowd, but you are joining to the corporate, you are showing something different for others. Means the expectations on you is going to be very high. When I get a complex problem, I say, hey, give it to the new person. You know why? Because he will not have any pre-attempted thoughts. If you give it to the other person, he doesn't respond in the same way. But you people are fresh in mind, come with open minds, lot of challenges you will take, so automatically they will post on you. But the question is, the expectation, once you meet the expectation, doesn't mean that it is going to stop. What we will do? We are meant for, Ashok Leyland is meant for overloading. So your expectation, you are meeting the expectation, what we will do? We will raise our bar. So that means it becomes a challenge. How do you meet the high expectation of your bosses? I think this itself will tell you what I am trying to speak. What is this? Dealing with people. One of my friend during discussion he said, dealing with animal is much easier than dealing with people. It's a fact. Because dealing with people is so much difficult. In your college days, how your performance is getting measured, maybe you are writing some examinations, correct? Finally you get, the total output of yours depends on your hard work. But in corporate it doesn't happen. Only 10 to 15% of your performance is going to reflect. All the 85% left with other people's. Your priority is not their priority. Whatever you go with some work or something, he may be the last thing which he has to take it. Because he has got his own priority. So how do you manage the people is going to be a very difficult task for you. And without people, you cannot be able to deliver your task. The fifth challenge is going to be competition. Somebody was talking to me, he says, sir, this college student, they will feel very difficult to challenge Chennai students. I said, why you say? I don't accept. Is it true? Can you not compete with Chennai students? Huh? Definitely you can make it. The question is, the competition is different. Competition kills the business. Competition is only driving the business. Both it does. How it differs? You take the example of HMT watches. HMT watch is there or not? Why? Fiat, best in engines. Till now, Fiat engine, nobody can able to beat. Nowhere in the market. Nokia phones. If you check here, how many Nokia phones will be there? Why? Because competition, they are not tuned to the competition. But let us take another example, how positively the competition drives. Bank. I don't know how many of you went to banks. Earlier days I used to go. You had to stand in a long queue. Okay? To take your money back. They'll give you one token. The paper runs around for 15 minutes. Finally the teller will give and you have to get the money back. Your money, getting back, you need to wait for that. Now what happens? From mobile, you can transfer your money. Internet banking is available. ATM is available. So the competition is driving. But what happens when ICICI brought, till such time we never thought about it. When ICICI and Citibank get into our business, these people tuned to that environment. What they did, now Nationalized Bank is also working on Sundays. They are also having ATMs. They are also having internet banking. Why this was not done before? Because competition drives. If you are not tuning to your competition, this happens to the professionals also. The problem is, the competition between you is not with equal. In college, you have a standard platform for competition. But it doesn't happen in an organization. Why? For the same grade, you will have people with lower experience and higher grades. Means, higher education qualification. You will have different mixture of peoples for the same grade. So you have to compete with all the people of different levels. Executives at the same level will have different education qualification. MTech will be joining at your same level. Or diploma with 6 years will be joining at your same level. So you need to compete with them. That's going to be the real challenge. Unless you demonstrate that you are different from others, you are drive away. Right? These are the top 5 challenges. Here I'll try to put a dot on the challenges and I'll move on what you need to do to manage these challenges. Right? Any transition from one to other, whether it is from corporate to college or college to corporate or corporate to your retirement, whatever you have. The transition is going to ask for a lot of risks and challenges which we need to face. So how do we face these challenges? The first thing what you need to do is have a vision. I'll take the same example. When you are born, immediately your father says, you should become a doctor or engineer. If your father has not thought that and has not put their action, just think where you will be now. Correct? So, he has thought the vision has been kept 20 years before. True? Now you have become engineer and sitting here. The question is the same way, you need to find out what is your vision. Once you get into the corporate, identify what is your vision, what is the target you are going to have, and what is the action plan. And you need to review this target at a defined frequency. That should be the first job. Right? Once you get in, because you are not tuned to that, what you want to have. But once you get into the corporate, you need to identify and progress. Next. So how do I fix a target or vision? Because Ajit Premji said, I would like to quote here, if people are not laughing at your goals, the goal is too small. Right? So that means you have to fix your targets or goals at a very high range. But how do I fix my target? Because I'm new to the corporate. How do you do that? You need to have a mentor who are rich in experience and professional, like your professors here. You will definitely find a person. The difficult in finding a person is his bandwidth and your bandwidth should be same. Like, you have friends. Even though you have 100 people sitting here or 400 people sitting here, you sit only in groups because your bandwidth and his bandwidth goes together. That's why you are sitting together. You never want to go and sit with another person. Right? The same way, in the company also, the corporate also, when you go, definitely you will have a bandwidth with the equal person. Maybe he may be rich in experience and grades and other thing, hierarchical positions. Have a mentor with them. They will be the people who can able to guide you in a difficult situation. They will mentor you and have a constant meeting with them and start moving your targets. Okay. The next is networking. I said managing people is very difficult. How do you create networking? You need to have, I taken a point that, whenever I go for lunch, I never sit with the same people. You know why? Because you need to have more and more contact. If I go with your work to you and ask you to perform, you don't perform. But if I have a friendship with you before, if I come to you, it works. It doesn't mean that the network should be inside your function. It should also be outside your functions or outside your organization. There are a lot of forums available. For example, if you take, automobile industry, you have a lot of forums available to discuss. If you take quality, American Society of Quality, a lot of forums are available, online forums, by which you can be able to interact with the different people in different industries, how they do that. So that will give you a good input for you to develop upon. I think I don't have to speak about this because somebody else has already spoken, innovation and creativity. Never mind where you are. We have a department called product development. 1,200 people are working, right? Only for developing new products. But the innovation doesn't come from there. I will say, as personal view, only 20% comes from there. All the rest of the 80% comes from marketing, manufacturing, service and all. Because these people day to day see the customers and get that input. And the sparks come from there, where we innovate and create it. So the question is, it doesn't mind where you are. You may be in marketing, you may be in purchasing, wherever. What different you do. I would like to quote here Shiv Khera's famous word. Winners don't do different things. They do things differently. So, generally people will follow the same standing operating procedure. If you tell him to do something, they will follow the same thing. That's why they are looking at you with high expectation. Because they think you will do something differently. Unless you do something differently, you are not going to be there. Right? So, innovation and creativity is must and you should practice that. Upgrading your knowledge. I would like to share here one of my experience. There are two things. One is refreshing your knowledge. Next is upgrading your knowledge. Refreshing means whatever you are, getting in your colleges. I went around your, what is called your labs and all, well equipped. But there is a big gap between your, lab and the industrial labs, what we are using. So you need to find the, what is called the connections. So refreshing, the basics you should never leave. Upgradation, you need to develop by going to industries, by reading some books. You can do a lot of things to upgrade your knowledge. But refreshing your basics is very much. I am proud to hear to say, Ashok Leyland has conducted a competency mapping because they want to identify the future leaders for Ashok Leyland. So out of 12,000 or 14,000 employees, they selected very selective people, based on their performance, potential and a lot of things. The boss select the people. So like that they have almost 400 to 500 people have been selected. They were under the competency mapping. This has been conducted by IIT Mumbai. It means third party. 4 professors, aged around 57, sitting on all 4 corners. You will have group discussions, strategic discussions, leadership interviews, personal interviews, professional interviews, behavior interviews. They conduct 3 days, they'll screw up the whole thing. Finally, they'll come up with a mark sheet and say that this is how we work. There are only 2 people who stood apart and considered as a star performer. I was one among them. Why? Because I always keep refreshing my basics. I never left my basics behind. In addition, I also upgrade my knowledge in reference. Most of the people, once they left the college, they forget the basics. So that should not happen. Wherever you are, try to use your engineering skills into the work what you do. That's what I want to mention here. The next is specialization. I'm sure, everyone has got their own specialization on which you have to bring. If you put your SWOT analysis like strength, weakness, or whatever you call it as, you have your own strength. If Sachin Tendulkar has been asked to, become Vijay Adiraj or somebody, definitely I'm not sure where he will be. Like Vijay Adiraj has been asked to bat, definitely I don't know where he will be. Right? Both happens. So the question is, you need to find out where you are special. What special characters you have. That you need to find out. Probably your mentor can help you in all these aspects. Because it's very difficult to tell each and every person what special you have. But you need to find out your special and build on that career. For example, if I am very good in negotiating, I should take a purchasing as my career role. If I am very good quality consciousness, then I need to enter into a quality department. If I am very innovative, I need to take a profession on R&D. That's how you need to take a profession. The initial first 2 years, you need to stabilize in a corporate, but you should look for your specialization. Where I will perform better. Then you have to grow your career there. Then only you can be able to take up the challenges. This is very critical, emotional stability. There will be a lot of people, when you get into the corporate life, you need to face, you have to handle a lot of people. You will be pushed to the corners in various meetings. Your ideas will be thrown off. And, whenever you go for a meeting or something, you will be criticized or something. You need to keep your emotion very stable. Why? Because emotional stability is very much important because you need to take a lot of decisions. If you are taking decisions in a wrong time, it will lead to the entire screw up of your career. So your emotional stability is very important. It's an art which you should learn and stabilize. The next is, communication. Communication is very important. I've seen very, very good people, very strong in technical, but they don't know how to communicate properly. And they don't, come up in their career successfully like the others. But an average or, slightly above the average people, they come up in their career very good because of the communication skills what they have. Means they know what to communicate, where to communicate, how to communicate, and whom to communicate. This is the last is very important, whom to communicate. Because you will be doing something, somebody will go and tell the boss that no, he has done already. The Tamil Paramari undu namakku. Raja Kalthara vandu pathina, they'll be fighting, everybody will be fighting at the corners. One person will be standing and watching what's happening to the war. Once the war is completed, suddenly this person runs to the king and says, sir, we have got the victory. Somebody will be dying for the country and this fellow will put the harm and he'll go. The same thing can happen to your career also. So you need to know whom to communicate and where to communicate and how to communicate. So communication skill is also an art which you should learn once you get into the corporate field. This is most important, attitude. Never give up attitude or winning attitude, I will say. There will be some people or there will be some instances you will have success or failures. You will have positive, negative, plus and minuses. Everything can happen in your life. At any point of time, you should never leave up your courage to win attitude. Because you cannot expect every time, it will be like always success or something. There will be somebody who will put their best strength to push you down to the maximum. You should come up like a rubber ball in the water. If you press the rubber ball in the water, what happens? It bounces back the fast. The same way you should never leave. A lot of Tamil films have shown this in a different form. We see Tamil film as a film, but if you look into this, the hero will be hit to the last blood. Lover again, he picks up and destroys the entire, what is called the enemy kingdom, which is almost 400 people standing with AK-47. He is having nothing. But he picks up the, what is called the pistol or something and he shoots everybody. And the question is, I'm not worried about the cinematic, way of okay. But the question is, never give up attitude. Means even at the last, blood, you should not leave it, behind. You should have a winning attitude to ensure that what you want, what you achieved, or what you want to achieve, should be met without thinking. So, before I conclude, I would like to recap what we have been discussing so far. The key 5 challenges, environment, new environment which we are going to, you have to tune to the new environment, and dealing with people, going to be very tough, managing your time, then high expectations which you need to meet and consistently meet expectations. Then you have to work on the competitive field, which is going to be very critical for your success. To do that, you need to have vision, targets and action. Primarily, you should need to have where you want to go and you need to finalize. And you should fix a mentor. Definitely once you get into your corporate life, and you should have a clear network system, social network systems across the organization. Then you should be wherever you are, which department you are working doesn't make any difference. But innovation and creativity is very much important. Then refreshing and upgrading your knowledge is very important. And find out what your specialized is all about and build your career on that. And emotional stability at any point of time is very critical, because if you lose your emotion, it will screw the whole career. Then communication is an art which you should learn. Then finally, the never give up attitude. This is most critical. Before I conclude, there are a lot of things, what we discussed. If you consider 3 parts of your life, one is called, your college life, next is corporate life, the third is your retirement life. You take, only the, what is called the knowledge to the second part. Means once you move from college to corporate, you leave everything and take the knowledge. The same way, if you leave corporate and go to your retirement life, you need to take something else. What is that? Nothing but the respect. How do you get that respect? How do you get that respect? Being human with every person. That should be your primary goal. I am sure you all agree. He is the only person, I can say, who brought the entire India under one roof for a single cause. Ever happened before? Never happened after. Right? So being human with others will take you to the right position. And that should be your primary goal. All this, whatever we are discussing on your career goals and all, will go away once you get into your retirement. All your authority, responsibilities, all your grades, special. So I would recommend, you should retire not as a vice president or president or general manager or whatever you want. Rather, you should retire as a person. It's a good human being. இதில் ஸ்பெஷல் கோட் ஃப்ரம் கண்ணதாசன், இருந்தாலும் மறைந்தாலும் பேர் சொல்ல வேண்டும், இவர் போல யார் என்று ஊர் சொல்ல வேண்டும். Whether you live or die, your name should be spelled. For that, you should have a primary goal as being a good human with others. That is more important. Be human with your colleagues, be human with your parents, be human with everybody, whoever you interact. That will take you to the right path and right goal. Best of luck for all your careers, and hope to see some of you in Ashok Leyland. Thank you. Bye-bye.